In 2007, two college roommates were broke, sleeping on air mattresses, and couldn't afford rent. Their brilliant solution: rent out those same air mattresses to strangers. Everyone called them crazy. Today, that stupid idea is worth over $75 billion and has completely revolutionized how the world travels. But here's what's absolutely mind blowing, and this might change how you see business forever. The idea that made them billionaires wasn't even their original plan. In fact, they almost gave up three times. And the breakthrough moment, it happened because of cereal boxes. Stay with me because what I'm about to show you will completely shift your perspective on what makes a billionaire dollar idea. And spoiler alert, it's probably simpler than you think. Let me paint you a picture. On October 2007, San Francisco, Brian Chesky and Joey Gebbia are 27 years old design school graduates and they're about to be evicted. Rent is due, bank account is empty, and their credit cards are maxed out. Then they hear about this design conference coming to town. Hotels are booked solid, people are desperate for places to stay, and here is where most people will think too bad for them. But Brian and Joe, they saw the opportunity. They inflated their air mattresses in their living room, created a simple website called Air, Bed and Breakfast, and charged $80 per night. Not for a fancy room, not for luxury amenities, for a spot on their floor and some pop tarts for breakfast. Three people booked, that's $240. Enough to make rent. But here is the crazy part, and this is where $1 billion lesson begins. They didn't just solve their problem, they accidentally discovered something massive. Those three kids weren't just paying for a place to sleep, they were paying for something the hotel industry had completely missed for over a century. They wanted to feel like locals, not tourists. They wanted authentic experiences, not sterile rooms. The feedback blew their minds. Best trip ever. Felt like staying with friends. This is the future of travel. But here is what's fascinating. And pay attention because this pattern shows up in every $1 billion idea. They weren't trying to disrupt the hotel industry. They were just trying to pay rent. So they pitched it to investors, rejection after rejection. The market is too small, people won't stay with strangers. Hotels exist for a reason. 15 investors said no. By early 2008, they were living on cereal. Literally, they had maxed out credit cards, buying Obama oils and Cap and McCain cereal boxes, selling them for $50 each during the presidential election. That's how desperate they were. But sometimes your biggest failure teaches you the most valuable lesson. Enter Paul Graham from Y Combinator. He looked at their cereal box hustle and said something that changed everything. If you can convince people to pay $40 for, for three cereal, you can convince them to stay in strangers' room. That was the moment, not the air mattresses, not the website, not even the first bookings. It was the realization that the ability to create demand for something seemingly impossible meant they could scale this idea. The Y Combinator gave them $20,000. Within months, they had hosts in 34 cities. But is where it gets really interesting. And this is the pattern that separates billion-dollar ideas from million-dollar ones. They didn't just grow, they evolved. They realized people didn't just want air mattresses. They wanted entire homes, unique spaces, tree houses, castles, igloos. The platform wasn't about beds, it was about belonging anywhere. Now here is what makes this story absolutely fascinating from a business perspective. The Airbnb model follows what I call the billion-dollar pattern. And once you see it, you'll spot it everywhere. Step one, they solved their own problem first. They aren't just trying to build a billion-dollar company. They needed $600 for rent. Step two, they discovered an undeserved market by accident. Billions of travelers wanted authentic experiences, but nobody was providing them. Step three, they created a two-sided marketplace. Hosts needed extra income, guests needed affordable, unique stays. They connected both sides and took a percentage. But here is the genius part, and this is where the $1 million magic happens. Every new host made the platform more valuable for guests, and every new guest made it for more attractive for hosts. It's called network effects, and it is the secret sauce of every platform $1 billion company. While hotels were building more hotels, expensive, slow, location limited, Airbnb was turning every spare room in the world into potential inventory. They didn't need to own anything, yet they became more valuable than most hotel chains combined. And here is their scaling secret. But scaling from a few mattresses to a global phenomenon required some brilliant moves that most entrepreneurs miss. And my move number one, they noticed listing with professional photos got booked 3 times more often. So instead of just telling hosts to take better pictures, they hired photographers and offered free photo shoots. This single decision improved the entire platform's quality of move number move number two, they obsessed over trust. Reviews, verified ideas, insurance coverage, 24/7 support. They understood that their biggest competitor wasn't hotels, it was fear. Fear of staying with strangers. Move number three, they didn't just translate their website for international markets. They adopted even local cultures. In Japan, they emphasized respect and cleanliness. In Brazil, They highlighted community and warmth. And when COVID-19 hit and travel stopped overnight, they didn't panic. They pivoted to longer stays, work from anywhere experiences, and local getaways. Adaptability over rigidity. That is the deeper lesson. Now, here's what most people miss when they hear the Airbnb story. They think the lesson is start simple or solve your own problem, but that's a surface level. The real lesson is $1 billion ideas don't start as $1 billion ideas. They start as solutions to immediate problems that accidentally tap into massive and deserved human needs. Instagram started as a location check-in app called Babel. Twitter was a side project from a broadcasting company. Slack was an internal communication tool for a gaming company. The pattern isn't about having the perfect idea from day one. It's about being obsessively focused on solving real problems for real people. Then being smart enough to recognize when you have stumbled onto something bigger. Today, Airbnb has over 4 million hosts in 220 countries, has facilitated over 1 billion guest arrivals, and is valued at over $75 billion. Not bad for an air mattress idea that everyone thought was crazy. So here's my challenge for you. Stop waiting for the perfect $1 billion idea to strike like lightning. Start with the problem right in front of you. Maybe it's something that frustrates you daily. Maybe it's something your friends always complain about. Solve that fast. Make it work for one person, then 10, then 1,000. Because here's the truth, every $1 billion company started with solving a problem for just one person. If this story inspired you to think differently about business opportunities, smash that like button, subscribe for more entrepreneurship stories that will shift your perspective, and hit the notification bell because next week I'm breaking down how a rejected job applicant built a $50 billion company out of spite. Remember, the next time someone calls your simple idea crazy, you might be onto something $1 billion worthy. The question isn't whether your idea is perfect, it's whether you are solving a real problem for real people. Now go find that problem that you up at that keeps you up at night because that might be just be your $1 billion breakthrough waiting to happen. I'll see you in the next one.